Ever wondered what would happen if you were posting daily video for a year? Well, this guy did it for 420 days straight. Thanks to that, Yoni grew to 176,000 followers on Instagram and launched an app that made $26,000 in his first months. In this episode, you will learn how to get comfortable on camera, how to stay consistent, and how to get viral. But Yoni will also give you a few hacks that will help you escape the 100-view jail. So if you've ever thought about starting a building public but keep waiting for the right time, this episode is for you. So Yoni, before we start, I want to ask you something. There is something I struggle often, is to warm up before recording a video. You've been recording for like 416 days, so you probably have a special warm-up that you use before or something you do.
Before I film a video, I do 10 jumping jacks, 10 push-ups. I say ABCs forwards and backwards. No, I'm just kidding. I don't have warm-up. I'll show you actually exactly what it looks like when I film. I film using this camera. It's DJI Osmo Pocket. It's like, as far as cameras go, pretty cheap, $400-500. You can use an iPhone. I used iPhone for the first, 300 days. I just put this camera right here on my laptop, and I just start talking. I start recording. A lot of times I don't even know what's about to happen when I open my mouth. And it's just, what happened today? What am I thinking about? What am I looking forward to? Are things going the way I want them to? I just tell the story because I think that content, a lot of people talk about storytelling, but what story do you tell? Like, you can tell stories about things that are going on in the world, AI, events. You can talk about other people, or you can just tell your story. And that's what I did. I think it's a lot easier that way because you don't need to script. You don't need to make it up. You don't need to really be creative. You just tell your story. You have a story. You're building something. So that's what I do. I tell the very long 416 days in a row story of my life.
Amazing. And was it always like that?
My videos?
Yeah, like the first video you made, were you as comfortable as you are now?
No. So one of the real reasons why I started was because I was so scared of starting. And I think that if you're super scared of something, you should kind of double click on that, look into it. What is so scary? Is it something that you can overcome? And for me, it was super, super uncomfortable to be on camera, especially to look yourself in the eyes on camera because you're talking into your phone probably at first. Look yourself in the eyes and say something, right? And hit record. It's super difficult and super cringe. There's this whole concept of cringe. It feels really uncomfortable. So I knew that I need to overcome this. And I just started filming for the sake of overcoming it at first. And my first video, I said, today is day 1 of doing nothing for every follower I gain. Follow me to find out. Because I saw some account who said this as a joke. Some creator, he had a bunch of followers. I don't know what his videos were about, but he made one random video sort of making fun of all these trends that are like day 1 of running a mile for every follower, or for doing a jumping jack, a push up for every follower. Some people would do these trends and they would build up a bunch of following. So I said day 1 of doing nothing. And, it took 5 seconds to record the video. It was super awkward, but I just went away somewhere that nobody can see me. I opened the Instagram camera, no edits. I just talked into the Instagram camera and I posted it. And then I did it again the next day and the next day. Man, here we are in this conversation.
Yeah, crazy. How did it go for you? Like, did you get viral like pretty fast, or was it a long and hard work to get there?
Yeah, it was long. I know Jim, who you had on your podcast last, he went viral in the first video. And that's like, must be a super interesting feeling, But no, my first video, just like everybody else, got 200 views and 3 likes. That's how it starts. And I wasn't offering anything interesting. I wasn't like Jim telling an interesting, cool, dramatic story. I was just like putting in the reps for myself publicly. I made a new account. It had 0 followers. I was just talking into the void kind of to overcome this internal discomfort. And it came slowly. I did have a few kind of random viral videos in the first 2 months. One video got like 50,000 views, which is like, that feeling that you get when you're going viral, even if it's 50,000 views, 1,000 people like your video, you've never seen that before. You're looking at all the notifications. It's like dopamine. It's like drugs. It's this super crazy feeling. This is the reason social media is addicting. And I'm still trying to overcome that feeling now, a year and a half later, when a video goes viral. It's like hard not to keep checking. And you want to see, maybe somebody interesting is commenting or liking or, following me. Yeah, it took a while. It did take a while.
It's funny, you did a post about that like 2 days ago, and I answered to that because for me, it's like really a big feeling. When I started Twitter, the first time you get viral, you get addicted to that. And it's like a Russian roulette. Like you never know, like you just post something, you never know. You kind of know if it will go well or not. Sometimes you're really wrong, but when it goes well, it's pretty amazing. And how did you stay consistent? Like, because you started, you didn't have a lot of views, and now 416 days later, you're still posting. How did you get consistent?
Yeah, it's a good question. At first I was doing it, well, I'm still doing it for myself, but at first I was doing it because I wanted to overcome this feeling of discomfort. And if you're uncomfortable in front of the camera, which probably many people who will be watching or listening to this feel that, it takes time, but you do eventually get over it. And so I had to at least keep going until I felt comfortable in front of the camera. And that took a month or two. And then after that, I'm already sick on day 60. So it's like, what am I going to quit on day 60? What's the point? I just did. And once you kind of get day 60, day 100, day 150, if you think about it, there's not many habits in your life that you do every single day with 0 days off for hundreds of days in a row. Like maybe you go to the gym, you exercise, maybe you run, maybe you like, whatever, to host parties, whatever's your hobbies. You don't do it every day, right? You maybe go to the gym 3, 4, 5, 6 days a week, but you don't go to the gym for 200 days in a row. And so now I'm doing something for 200 days in a row. It's like, how can I quit? This is sort of, it becomes a piece of you. You become the person who shows up every day. And, it's in public. It's public accountability. So it's not like these people will really care if I take a day off. They don't care. They're probably not even going to be on their phone on that day off, or they're not even going to notice that that wasn't on their feed. But I care, because I said I was going to do it. And, a lot of good has come of it.
Did you miss a day?
No.
Never. So
Never missed a day?
did you cheat? Like, did you, like, let's say, record 2 videos in a day?
Yeah, one time. One time in January, so this is like 6 months ago. So it was about 250 days in or something like this. 200 days in. I went to Japan and to Hawaii with my girlfriend. And we were gone for 2 or 3 weeks. And I didn't want to be doing this, on that trip, because I have been doing it for 200 days in a row. Okay, it's a part of me. It's consistent, but like somewhere you need to unplug. It's good to be consistent. It's good to create on social media instead of just consume. But it's also good to put your phone down once in a while. Like it's not very good to be 24/7 online. And so right before this trip, I spent like 3 or 4 days and I filmed 30 videos and I just scheduled them out using PostBridge onto my accounts.
That's funny. I'm asking that because I'm flying tomorrow to Europe and I will see my family. I will spend a week with my friend in holiday. I'm like, I really don't want to give up. I don't want to miss a day, but I think I will need probably to record like 30 video in 2 days or something like that. So yeah, I need a topic. Just a quick break. I invited Yoni today because I also started building in public 50 days ago. I've been posting every single day, but nothing really happened yet. And I'm sure I'm not the only one in this situation. So I decided to start this podcast. Every week, I learn from the best content creators that went from 0 to hundreds of thousands of followers through short form video. And I share all of that with you. I just created a free guide from everything I've learned from these content creators, from growing an audience to monetization strategies that actually work. And you can get access to it by clicking on the link in the description. And how did you get viral the first time? What was your first big video that got traction?
Super funny. My first video was like day 19, I think. And I kind of remember these videos by their day sometimes. I don't remember what I did 400 days ago, but I remember day 19, the post. Right? It's funny. This was the first one that went viral. This was a story about I bought an investment property. I like bought a very small house, or I put an offer on a small house like in the countryside in America. And this was the first time I ever put an offer on a house. And I just said, I put an offer on a house. I don't know what I'm doing. I've never bought a house before, but there's only one way to find out, something like this. And a bunch of old women, it like Instagram algorithm gave it to old women and they just ate it up. And so all the comments were like from age 60 plus women. And they were saying things like, you remind me of my grandson, because I was talking about like, I'm buying a house. I never bought a house before. And they were like, this cute boy. And my followers, Instagram shows you the demographics. It's like normally it's like a bell curve. And usually most of your followers are like 18 to 24 or 25 to 35 is mine. And then most of my followers are men, like 90%. But at that time, because the first video to go viral was all women and old women, my demographics were like completely skewed. And I had like suddenly thousands of followers who were age 60 plus women. Totally random. Yeah.
That's crazy. And did you use like trial for that? Or you just posted a normal video?
No, you mean Instagram trial?
Yeah.
No, Instagram trial, I think, is a new feature. I don't think it existed a year ago. It came out sometime in the last like maybe 6 months. And it's kind of a growth hack. If you already have some viral videos, you can use trials to sort of repost them more. But yeah, at the time, I just would film one video every day and post.
So you hacked Instagram to target grandmas. Did you find
Yeah.
other pattern on like all your video now, something that really makes video get viral?
It's a good question. Over the last 415 days, I've been working on different projects. So right now I have an app and I'm talking a lot about how I'm building this app and I'm marketing the app. And this is a lot of what I'm talking about. I'm sure we'll talk about it later. But a year ago, I wasn't building software. I'm a software engineer for my day job, but I was like doing e-commerce business. And I had an e-commerce business that I started on camera and it grew to like $30,000 a month. And then it got shut down with a cease and desist. And it was like this kind of dramatic story. And I was telling the story for the first 100, 200 days. I was telling the story about how I was growing that business. And some of those videos would go viral, the first one that really went viral got a couple million views, was very early into this e-commerce business. I had an idea for a product that I thought could sell well. I was selling on Amazon. And at the beginning, I was spending like a lot of time and money on the business, and I had no revenue yet. So I made some video talking about with a time lapse showing me working on this business in my office. Late at night, I said, sometimes this is what business looks like. You're up late at night, 3 a.m, you want to go to sleep, but you keep working. And I show my revenue statistics. And I said, so far I've made $8.80 and I've spent $4,000 and, whatever. And the comment section just went crazy. Look at this idiot, spent $4,000. He only made $8. You're better off selling dirt. Like people just ganged up on me in the comment section. And that video went viral, I think, as a result, because you need to create some kind of controversy. Something that I didn't do it on purpose. I was just telling the story. It's like at the beginning of a business, you're negative until you eventually become positive. But yeah, Instagram sort of, they dug their teeth into it.
Yeah, it's true. I feel like you're rewarded for that. And so you've been posting a lot, and I'm sure that you have a process now to post video every day. Like, do you follow a process every day, like something that you do always, like find an idea, write the script, record, edit, and publish?
Yeah, it's a good question. So I have a bit of a you can call it unconventional, unorthodox approach. Most people write scripts to their videos and they plan them out. But also, most people have what I would call like higher touch editing. Most people have videos that have a bunch of different cuts. And it says, look at this and look at this. And you're trying to kind of keep people's attention. You have to do this on social media. I don't really do it. I just talk into the camera. And so most of my videos are like, maybe I'll have some images or screenshots overlaid, but it's not like I'm in a park and now I'm on a bus and now it's not, I'm not like making a movie. I'm just sort of doing this low quality TV episode of my life. To do it every single day, it has to be some minimum viable form. And so I don't edit my videos. I don't script my videos. I will come up with a topic, and then I'll just sit down and talk into the camera for like 3, 4, 5 minutes. I'll edit it down into 60 seconds and post it. So it usually takes me about 30 minutes from start to finish now. At the beginning, it took me like 2 hours every day, up to 2 hours to make a video. You know what it's like. But nowadays, like 30 minutes.
And you use CapCut to edit?
Yeah. CapCut, if some people don't know, I think it's a pro feature, but it's called transcript editing. So there's a transcript button. What it does is it takes your video, transcribes it into like a basically text document, and then you can edit that text document. So, for example, one thing when I record videos, I might say the same sentence over and over again. Today I want to talk about, and then it sounds weird. Today I want to talk about, and I'll say it until it sounds right. And then later in post, you have to cut out all those first bits. But if you just see it all as text, you can just highlight the text and delete it. And CapCut will delete that piece of the video. It makes editing much faster because you don't have to scrub through the video and play and stop and find the bits. You can just edit it as text. Yeah, it does take me a lot of time. Yeah.
Mm.
There's an app called Descript, and that's kind of their whole premise. Descript was they were famous for this transcript editing, and then CapCut just added that feature.
So you have your ID, no script, you take your Osmo, you film yourself, you edit on CapCut, and you publish. Do you still use PostBridge to publish everywhere?
No, I don't use it anymore because I probably should. In truth, I probably should. It's just I have a kind of a weird workflow where I'll edit it on my computer and then I put it onto my phone and I do some final touches and then I upload it from my phone. Postbridge, Jack, if you're listening to this, if you make an app, if you make a mobile app or like progressive web app or something, that would be useful because I think that people have to post on TikTok, for example, from their phone. But, Postbridge has issues posting to TikTok, or any API scheduler has issues posting to TikTok because TikTok hates API publishing. TikTok wants you to only publish in the app. So, yeah, no, I don't use Postbridge anymore to publish, but I do use it for like if I'm scheduling in advance.
Yeah, it's funny because I talked about that with Jim, but I have a huge problem with TikTok is that my IP is in Indonesia. And I tried a bunch of stuff, like to send content in US, content in English country, but it's really hard. So like every time I publish something on my phone here, I will target Indonesian. And it can go viral, but like it's not like they are really, really good in English. So that's a problem for me. That's why I use Postbridge now. But yeah, sometimes I'm afraid that also TikTok kind of filter me because I post from an API. Yeah, it's a good.
So, do you get views when you post?
I get views, but I used to get, I think, like more than 2,000 views because I have like almost 6,000 followers on TikTok. But now I never get above 500 or even not 1,000. So I'm not sure if it works well. I target UK mainly, which is funny, but
Interesting.
yeah. Do you have any, well, you gave us like the CapCut hack transcribe. Do you have any little hack that you use like for in any step of the process?
It's a good question. I think that CapCut transcript editing is probably my biggest hack. Yeah, I was gonna say I think the biggest hack is just do it every day because people want to follow a story. You're gonna grow faster at the beginning than you will at the end. Most accounts reach this kind of plateau at some point, because people want to be a part of something. And so if you're showing like I'm starting a business and last week we had $100 in revenue and today we have $500 in revenue. Let's see where we are next week. Then people are kind of interested. Oh, I want to follow this and see where we're at next week. I'll tell you actually a good hack, a growth hack at the beginning for early accounts. I did this unintentionally, but it might have had an effect on my early growth. I would share how many followers I have in the video at some point, either at the beginning or at the end. I would say today we have 287 followers. That's up from 271 followers yesterday. I'm posting every day. See you guys tomorrow. And so what happens is people see you're claiming some account growth. And then they're going to go check your account and they say, oh, he had 284 when he posted. What does he have now? Now he has 291. Oh, he's growing or something like this, The account is growing. So it kind of creates this curiosity gap where people are like, oh, he has more followers today than yesterday. Let's see what he has right now when I check. And that brings them to your profile. And then maybe you have more followers now. And they're like, oh, okay, I'll follow along. I'll watch this play out.
It's funny because right now I'm in the position where I don't have any growth because I launched, it's still a beta version, so it's not public. I launched my SaaS, so I don't have any growth. Yeah, something is building, but they don't see anything. And I feel like sometimes I miss this, to show some growth because now I'm posting every day and nothing happened. So maybe that's a good trick actually. Because
Followers, bro. Yeah.
Yeah. And I see that also there is kind of a big spike when you start to get revenue. Like for example, Jack Freaks on Twitter, when he started to get actually good revenue on his app, he started to explode like straight away. And that's when Starter Story come to you. That's when Greg Eisenberg comes to you, when like the revenue start to come. But yeah, maybe you need some growth at the beginning, so that can be your followers. Interesting. And I have a question, but I feel like the answer is obvious. What is the 80-20 for content creation?
What is the 80-20? What is the 20 that produces 80% of the results? What's the most important thing? What's the obvious answer? It's a good question. What is the 80-20? I think the 80-20 is just being consistent. I think the most important thing is that you show up. And maybe it's not for everyone. Posting 400 days in a row, it's like a little bit of a crazy thing to do. But what you're doing is you're producing a TV show, and you're asking people to, watch your show, to tune in. And if you kind of make a promise that I'll make an episode for you every day, you want to be entertained, I'll entertain you, I'll tell you a story every day. Then it doesn't have to be the most interesting story. You don't have to have the most growth in your revenue or, whatever. Yeah, I think it's like if it's down to earth and it's relatable, then people want to see that more than they want to see somebody made 8 figures, yacht, G-Wagon. I think people want to see somebody who's like them, who's also just like trying to figure it out. So it's a long answer, but I think just show up every day.
That was the obvious answer I had. It's really like I think consistency and showing up every day. Probably just to learn, iterate a lot. Yeah.
Totally.
You cracked Instagram, like 176,000 followers. And on Twitter, you were not that big. And then you got this post, like, what was it? 15 days ago, something like that. And you got 1.2 million impressions explaining how you built your first mobile app and got $26,000 from that. What is the thing that you find that you can apply on Instagram, but also work on Twitter Or like, what is the hack actually? What is the thing, the secret that you use to get viral on both platforms?
It's a good question. So one thing is that people love to talk about money or to hear about other people's money. People are interested in money. People are trying to start businesses. Why? Because they are interested in business, because they want money, right? So this is like a very core kind of psychological driver in humans. And so to your point, once you start getting revenue, all the podcasts come out and they're like, hey, let's talk, because it's interesting sort of to everyone. Um, I told the story of how I built an app and how it made $26,000, and people are interested. You built an app 30 days ago and now you made $26,000. That means that I can make $26,000 in 30 days. Let me just read these 11 tweets that will give me all the answers that I need to become successful. So I think that's why it went viral. I had a very long tweet thread on Twitter also talking about how I grew a bunch of followers on Instagram. That was like a month or two ago. That went really viral. In some ways, it's like the rich get richer. Momentum compounds. Once you have some wins, you should talk about those wins. And, people are interested to hear from success of others. There's a concept of like success porn. This is like people just want to watch starter stories based on this principle. People want to watch 0 to 17K MRR in 30 days. Like, it's a juicy story. So once you have some revenue to show, if you're not ashamed or you're not like shy to talk about it, I encourage you to talk about it. I think Twitter, Twitter is very happy to talk about money. A lot of people talk about MRR. This is like the whole kind of point of tech Twitter now. They're not shy at all, but yeah, I encourage you not to be shy and to talk about these things. And, it's interesting to other people.
Let's talk about it then. You made $26,000 with this app. The name is BrainRot. Can you explain us what this app does exactly?
Yeah, so BrainRot is a screen time app that encourages better relationship with your phone and minimizing screen time by showing you a cute little cartoon of a brain. And the more that you spend time on your phone, your brain rots. And so at the beginning of the day, you have 100 health, your brain is fully healthy and he's happy and he's smiling. And then the more time you spend on your phone, he sort of gets sad and, squishy. And by the end, he's fully dead, melted, rotted. Um, and you can set up rules to block your apps, to encourage you, not to open the apps and keep checking these very addictive platforms.
Really cool. How did you came up with the idea?
I was addicted I was addicted to these apps that are designed to be, specifically addicting. I think that these apps, I mean, it's obvious that these apps are addicting. They're addicting both for consumers and for creators. Like they're addicting for normal people who are scrolling, because you never know what you're going to get. Maybe something really interesting. You just keep scrolling. And they're addicting for creators because you post and you don't know what's going to happen. Is it going to go viral, not go viral, new followers, no new follow, so it creators are constantly checking their notifications. Maybe something cool is happening, right? But consumers are just swiping. And both of these things just keep pulling you into the app. And I was pulled into the app hundreds of days in a row of making videos on social media. So it's like, uh, and now I'm gaining a bunch of followers. It's like drugs to go viral, especially for the first time. You don't know how to handle this feeling. And you keep checking it, and you're up late at night checking it, and you wake up first thing in the morning checking it. It's like, it's really like drugs. And it started to make my life worse. I live in San Diego, Southern California, beautiful city, beautiful by the beach, great surfing, mountains, deserts, ocean. It's amazing. I wasn't leaving the house. I was on my phone. I was on my computer, right? I have everything I need here on the internet. So I saw that I have a problem in my life, and usually it's good to try to solve your own problems. So I could have just downloaded an existing app. They exist for helping with screen time, but I was sort of looking for my next opportunity, my next project after the e-commerce business, and I decided to build BrainRot.
Amazing. How long did it take to build it?
It took about 2 months, but that was way too long. It should have taken much less, but I never built an app before. I vibe coded something and it was really a mess. I knew that I can't finish this, so I started over. And then I kind of tried to break it down more carefully. That took maybe about a month. And then I submitted it to the App Store and it got rejected for some reason. You need to have your privacy policy on the front of the app. Okay. I fixed this. I resubmitted it. It got rejected because the terms of service needs to be in the description on the App Store. It's like, okay, I add that. I resubmit it. It got rejected because the paywall, it looks like this, but it's supposed to look like that. Okay. It took like 6, 7 times before eventually it was accepted. And each time takes a couple days. So end to end, it was like 2 months, 2.5 months from start to launch.
It's funny because you say that, but one of your video on Instagram got pretty viral talking about that, right? Talking
Yeah,
about your
this is what you
struggle.
should totally. This is why you should build in public. I got one or two videos got more than 1 million views where I'm just talking about how my app is getting rejected. Yesterday, my app got rejected for the 5th time, and today, finally, after 65 days of building, the app got rejected for the 6th time, and it went viral. So it's like, this is why you should build in public. Because even before you launch, when you're struggling and it's like things aren't working and it's delayed, either you're building in silence and nobody knows, nobody cares, and it's not helping you at all, or you're building in public and like you build your audience and people are interested and you're building tension. And it's like, what is he building? When is it going to launch? Why did he get rejected? He's probably an idiot, whatever. Just like, this is how you go viral.
Let's go back to the app. What is your stack? Like, how did you build it?
I built it in Swift. It is just an iOS native app. So there's a couple of cross-platform technologies. There's React Native you can build an app in, and there is Flutter you can build an app. This will let you cross-compile it down into iOS or Android. I decided just to build in Swift, just for an iPhone, because I have an iPhone. I wanted the app. I didn't want to complicate it. Listen, most of my businesses have failed. Just like Peter Levels, I've probably a few dozen projects, businesses, not nearly as many as him, but I failed probably 12 to 18 businesses. And so you don't want to overcomplicate it. Imagine if every time you want to start a business, you're like, what's the most optimal way? Okay, I need to incorporate a company in the Cayman Islands, and that company is going to license its IP to the Bahamas, and that Bahamas is going to pay me to. So imagine if you had to set up this every time you want to open a company, right? It's impossible. So in the same way, I'm like, I just want to do something simple. I'll just do it for iPhone, and I'll launch that.
Interesting. And do you know why this app worked and not the other one?
Well, by the time that I launched, I had 150,000 followers, 160, whatever it was. So this is for sure helpful. There's no question about it. At first, I started making videos because it was hard and uncomfortable and cringe, and I wanted to overcome this. But of course, I had intentions of, building an audience so that hopefully they can help support me on my journey as an entrepreneur. Because I've been starting and failing all sorts of different projects for the last 10 years. So this was one of the reasons why I started making videos in the first place. Now I have an audience. Let's see if I can launch to my audience. Let's see if these people who support me every day through my videos also want to support or watch the app grow, right? And so thankfully, they were super supportive, my audience. A couple days after I launched to my audience, I launched on Product Hunt. This was huge for me. Product Hunt, so I've seen a lot of people on Twitter launch on Product Hunt. I've never done it before. I've never used it, but I scheduled something the night before to launch the following day. And I wake up in the morning and I check my phone and somebody sends me a DM, says, oh my God, you're already number 4 on Product Hunt. And I look on Product Hunt, it was already number 4. By 7 in the morning, I was number 4 in the world. And then all I had to do was tell my followers, hey guys, help me. And it went 4, 3, 2, 1, and it was number 1. And I was like, didn't understand, how was this so easy? And it's like, I got 10,000 downloads more in one day. It was crazy. Again, dopamine, it's like drugs.
Yeah.
I didn't understand how it happened. Comes to find out that Product Hunt every morning sends out an email to their subscribers, a newsletter, and it says, these are some interesting projects that are dropping today. They will spotlight, every day it's like how many, 200 new products on Product Hunt, but they will mention a few of them in an email. They sent out an email that morning with the subject line, cure your brain rot. And the whole top of the email was about my thing. And it had my banner image of brain rot. And it talked about, this funny little AI character, no streaks, no complications, simple screen time app. You're going to love this. It was the whole top of the email. And then there were a couple other mentions below. But the first link in a newsletter is always the one that everybody clicks.
Yeah. Imagine I didn't pay on that.
No, I didn't pay them. But funny you say that. They have, if you look up, whatever it is, Product Hunt Daily Newsletter, you can see they're all on their website. And this was a couple months ago when it launched. And at the top of every newsletter, it says, do you know a project deserving the spotlight? Email us at editors@producthunt.com, something like this. There's an email. And so I guess, I don't know if they do it paid, but you can at least hit them up in advance and be like, hey, I'm launching in a week. Do you have any advice? Or like, what would it take to get a spotlight? Something like this. I don't know if they will do it, but it's worth investigating because whoever is at the top of that email, they have a big advantage.
They're crazy because product of the day now became really, really hard. Like we all know that. So congratulations. And on the distribution, you launched, you got like $3,000 in one day with your audience, and then $5,000 from Product Hunt, which is crazy. But then after that, you had a constant $200 a day, right?
Something like this, yeah. Every day, even still now, there's like 300, 400, 500 downloads per day. And this is mostly from people who search BrainRot in the App Store. And they search it for a number of reasons. It's very difficult to tell why did somebody search BrainRot. But it could be because they're searching BrainRot like memes. Well, probably not super likely, but or that they saw a video of mine, or that they, saw a tweet, or they saw a post on Reddit. It's not very clear where the people are coming from. But yeah, that's what it looks like.
And you tried other things, right? You tried like UGC. What else? Yeah, UGC creator, meme pages, TikTok. And you say you didn't have a lot of success with that. Do you keep trying?
Yeah. So I'm trying all sorts. Listen, I'm not a marketing guy. I'm a software engineer. So like most software engineers, this is the big kind of skill gap. It's like you build a product, nobody knows it exists, nobody cares, and you get no revenue. So how do you solve that? Well, you can post a video every day for 400 days in a row and hope that a bunch of people start following you. Or you have to do these methods. You have to do UGC, user generated content, where you get other creators to make videos for you about your product. And there's different platforms where you can find them. Ideally, it's like college age students, because they do it as a side job, side hustle, where you can pay them $10, $20, $30 per video, and they will just make for you 100 videos in a month. And maybe something goes viral, and you can use them to kind of test different formats and hooks. And if you get, Cal AI does more influencer marketing. This is an app that makes $3 million a month. They mostly go to big accounts, but you can't just be posting on your own account, right? You need to be all over the place. And so I'm testing different methods now.
Interesting. I will ask you a question that so many people ask on Twitter. I think in the group Building Public, I see this question every week. Audience first or product first?
It's definitely audience first. I think definitely audience first. Maybe it's super provocative. If you're a product person and you're like, you need to build a sticky product, you need to build viral loops, you need to build, high retention, delightful things, maybe. But if you can't get a hold of people, it doesn't matter how good your product is. Roy Lee is this example of distribution first, right? It's kind of a new paradigm in business that if you have a billion eyeballs, you will have millions of dollars. There's kind of no way around it. Mr. Beast, what did he do? Mr. Beast, as soon as he got his first $10,000 brand deal, he made a video called Giving $10,000 to a Homeless Person. And that video got, 20 million views. And now he got another brand deal. And now he starts spending on the videos. And it's just audience, audience, audience. Once you do this, then you can start a chocolate company and make $3 billion, right? You can do whatever you want, Mr. Beast. And he has like a, $10 billion company. Why? Because audience first. So
You got inspired by Peter Levels at the beginning when you started. Now, who inspires you? Who do you get your ID from, or what kind of account you're following?
it's a good question.
You can say me, but you know.
You for sure. You for sure. Who inspires me? I mean, so I'll say I'm not really closely following other creators and sort of trying to follow in their footsteps. At this point, I'm sort of just, I have the path in my head. I know what I need to do, and I'm just trying to do the steps. At this point, it kind of feels like there's just not enough hours in the day to do the things that I know I need to be doing. And so I'm kind of just like with these blinders on this path. But I think it's still Peter Levels, Mark Liu. I think it's these characters who sort of show that solopreneur life is possible. Peter Levels is a guy who is just him. He had a server guy, Daniel, and he had a bunch of like robots on his computer, basically cron jobs. Every time somebody requests a refund, he automatically sends them an email. Every time, somebody reports a bug, he automatically logs it in his. So it's just sort of fully automated little ecosystem where it's like one guy can make a few $1 million a year, lifestyle business. He lives in a small village on the coast of Portugal, and I really respect it. So probably still this kind of Greg Eisenberg largely like I'm fascinated by bootstrap business and nothing against people who go raise money, and build big companies. But I'm like just I have this super romantic idea of like small bootstrap lifestyle business where you can live the life that you want.
I think it's Daniel Dallin who talked about that in an interview not long ago, and he was saying that you should think about your success. So let's say you start something today, and in 5 years you will achieve that goal, and you have to think about the lifestyle that goal will bring you. For example, if you want to be the next Zuckerberg, you will have to handle 10 meetings a day, take private jet every day, move everywhere, interview, like all this pressure around you. While if you take another path, and let's say your success is like the life of Peter Levels, then you're living in Portugal and you're chill and everything is automated. You have no meeting, no calls. So I think it's really important for someone who starts to actually think about that, like what my life will look like in like 5 years, because eventually you will achieve that goal. So yeah, I'm 100% with you on this one.
Totally agree. There's a book, by the way, called Die with Zero by Bill Perkins. I've been super obsessed with this book. I read it recently. And it talks about how you should die with $0. Like people, particularly in America, in the West, capitalism, everybody is sort of capital oriented and people want to make money. Makes sense. You want to start a business, you want to get a job, you want a higher salary, you want to save more money. In America, people save for retirement their whole life. So your whole life, you're kind of thinking about age 65. And, you save, 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 save. And then even by the time you're 65, you're just used to only saving money. You don't really want to spend it all. You're afraid of spending it. You end up dying with a bunch of money in some cases, okay, there's plenty of people who don't have this luxury. But for the people who have excess income and who have excess capital, who just hoard it, and they're just sort of they don't spend it. They don't use it to improve their lifestyle. They don't use it for fulfillment. They just hoard it. And I've been thinking about this a lot. It's like, do you need $10 million a year? It's like, probably not. I mean, depends on your lifestyle, but like probably you don't need so much. So what do you need? Do you need $1 million a year? It's like, well, I mean, depending on where you are in the world, what kind of tax situation, how many kids you have. It's like, yeah, $1 million a year, probably a good lifestyle. So you just kind of have to think about what are your goals, and don't hoard all your money. Spend it on fulfillment because you don't know how long you have, right?
Perfect transition. In November 27th last year, you wrote your 2025 goals. 1 million revenue across all income streams, 1K MRR, software with my software business, own 3 properties, 100K followers across all platforms, read 12 books, 265 bench press. What did you achieve yet already?
Well, we're halfway through the year, so we still have time. I actually made a post recently of the status update. Maybe it was like a month ago, but what is the status? $1 million revenue. I haven't made $1 million revenue. The primary driver of my revenue, I have a full-time job as a software engineer, which is doing the most of the work here. You know, I made an app that made 30K. It doesn't really move the needle for $1 million goal. But in total, across everything, I have some real estate investment. I had an e-commerce business at the start of the year, and 30K in an app. I'm on track to probably make about 650 this year across everything. There's expenses, whatever, but
Yeah.
we're unless BrainRot starts to really take off, it doesn't look like we'll make $1 million, but 650 is like by far the most money I've ever made. So it's good to have ambitious goals, knowing that some of them you won't reach, but hopefully some of them you will. So that was the first goal. 12 books. I've read like 4. So I have work to do. I wanted to read a book every month, obviously, and now I've fallen behind. Now it's like I need to start really reading books. 265-pound bench press. I benched like 240, but that was a month ago. So need to get a little bit more back into it and just be careful not to injure myself. If I don't injure myself, I think this one will be okay. I have 2 properties, but I'm looking for the third. So this is like very small homes in the countryside in America. So I'm looking for a third one. What else was the goals? 100K followers. Thank God this happened earlier this year. At the time that I made that goal, I had like 20. So it was like this crazy goal. I didn't think I could get there, but it's good to have, some crazy goals you should reach, and some it's okay if they roll over to the next year, as long as you're continually reevaluating these things.
Well, you're on the road to get all these goals, I think. I'm not afraid about the million revenue. I think BrainRot is only the start. Like you started like 30 days ago, right? To talk about it.
Yes, about 2 months ago now, almost 2 weeks.
Yeah. What do you do with your properties? Is mainly Airbnb or long-term rental?
No, they're long-term rentals. Yeah, they're long-term rentals.
Another question about all of that, because you have a lot of goals, you have your full-time job, BrainRot, you're publishing a video every single day. You didn't miss a day. How do you manage your time?
Yeah, it's a good question. Um, I have very little balance in my life right now. I told you, there was a period that I just wasn't leaving the house, and it wasn't exactly true, but I wasn't spending nearly as much time outside living my life as I should have been, like working, working, working. So the truth is that you can't juggle all these things without sacrificing other things. And yeah, I'm extremely busy. Um, The video now takes about 30 minutes a day. Everybody has 30 minutes a day, so that's not really the problem. The properties, there's a manager manages those properties. That's not really a problem. Um, but listen, if you're a solopreneur, there's an infinite mountain to climb, right? And there is as much work. The work fills the time allotted. If you allow yourself from first thing in the morning to last thing at night to be working, you'll find work to do. So you need to learn how to draw this line for yourself. And I'm still learning because I'm, doing all this stuff, and I feel super, super busy. And at times I'm very stressed. But, you know, you, everybody has the same 18 hours awake every day, 16 hours. So not everyone feels as busy as other people, and people get vastly different amounts of work done. So it's just up to you, ultimately to figure out how in your life should you partition your time such that you can maintain this in the long haul. And that's still something I'm figuring out, in truth.
You think that doing these goals, these bullet point goals, helps you because you know exactly that you have these 6 goals to reach, and that's it?
I think so. I think it helps me. It helps me because it distills all of the noise into like a very finite list that fits just at the very top of a notes page. Um, I pin it onto my profile because this is sort of I'm very open with what I'm doing and what my prerogatives are. And I recommend this to any indie hacker, building public person. Is like just be very transparent about what you want and where you are and how you're struggling and why it's not working or what is working. It's like, the internet can be a very toxic place, and it can be very negative if you just consume constantly and read about other people and scroll. But it can be super loving and warm and positive if you create and you share rather than just, consuming. So encourage everybody, like, be open about what your goals are. What are you doing? What are you trying to do? Let the kind of community help you.
Amazing. Is there a question that I didn't ask you and I should ask you?
Will I ever stop posting videos every day?
What is the answer?
Probably. I'm sure. I don't know when. I can't imagine I can keep this up for my whole life. That would be an insane experiment. Can you imagine? You look back 30 years later and it's like, this is what happened every day. Yeah, there will be a time when I stop. Listen, like there's eras, there's periods of your life for different things. When you're young, you go to Europe with your friends and a backpack and you stay in the hostel. But when you're old, you don't want to do that anymore. And when you're young and you're excited and you're ambitious and you really want to chase your goals and you want to make videos every day, and do all this indie hacker stuff, you want to post a lot and you want, just go where your energy takes you. And right now I still have the energy for this. I'm really excited. I love making videos. Um, and I love sharing the story because I still feel very much that the story's unfinished. And so I don't know where it's going. Yeah, so I'm kind of posting daily updates of just where we are today. So right now I love it. But one day, once we've made it, whatever that looks like, if it even exists, maybe I'll stop.
And if someone wants to start today, like is here watching this video thinking maybe I should start a daily building public, why would you tell this person?
What would I tell them?
Yeah.
I would tell them, don't wait till you're ready. It doesn't exist. Start today. Make a new account with 0 followers. Start posting. Get used to getting in the habit of creating. It's kind of an uncomfortable or a foreign experience, but yeah, just start today.
Amazing way to end this conversation. Man, it's been amazing. I really loved talking to you. And
Same.
I think there's a lot of insight that people will be happy to get. Um, a last question. Who do you think I should invite next?
It's a great question. Who should you invite next? So you had Jim on, sort of tech guy, Instagram videos. Jim and I are similar in the way that we're both sort of tech guys, Instagram videos. The right here on Riverside, it says build in public. If this is the theme, you should have on a guy called Rajan Cheetah. I'll send you his Instagram after this. He just graduated from University of Virginia, studying some kind of finance degree, and him and his buddy bought some raw land in the mountains in Virginia, and they're turning it into luxury Airbnb cabins. And they're filming the process of building these cabins. First, they show the land, it's just trees, and then they bulldozed it, and then they put some foundation, they put a cabin, they put framing on it, and they're asking the Instagram, this guy, Rajan, he's asking, what do you think should go here? Should we put the hot tub over here, or should we put the hammocks over here? And people are really engaged. And he grew in 1 year. We started at the same time. I remember I had like 8,000 followers. He had 2,000 followers. And now he has 300,000. And all of his videos get like million views. And it's like super fun to watch these videos because you see this cabin getting built. You should have on Rajan. I think that would be an awesome conversation.
Well, I will ask him. And I think it's funny because Jim talked about this guy when I asked who inspired him right now. So he talked about Linux. And second thing is that I saw that you did a video as well like that. But when I posted the picture of my office on Thread and Twitter, and I asked what will make this office look cool, I got so many comments. I feel like people love giving their ID, like, mainly on this kind of thing, like building a house or something like that. So it makes sense. Well,
People love to feel like they're a part of it, you know?
Yeah,
They are involved. Yeah.
Well, Yoni, thank you a lot for this 55 minutes of conversation.
My pleasure, Florian.
Wish you a lot of good things for your project, and I hope you will. No, I don't hope. I know that you will get bigger and bigger, and yeah, all the luck for you.
Thanks, Florian. This was awesome. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for watching this episode. I hope this one will help you in your journey. If you like this one, I suggest you my last interview with Jim Tang, who grew an audience from 0 to 140,000 followers in 100 days. But before you leave, let me know in the comment who I should invite next.